Hi, I'm Jared Mello, and this is Mello Mentoring. In today's video, I would like to discuss the non-chemical and supplement ways to help with our anxiety and depression. I've talked about before how I think it's 50% science, 50% spiritual. We're going to talk about that 50% spiritual side today, which is going to include everything we're going to talk about on this side. Now, there's going to be two main themes here: courage and action. Courage, because the best definition of courage is doing the right thing, which in this case is doing something good for ourselves, regardless of how we feel about it. And action, because depression has a hard time hitting a moving target. And I completely understand when we're more depressed or anxious, I'm the least likely to do the things I'm supposed to do that are good for me. But that's why it's important to have courage to push through these things. So, one easy way to help with our depression and anxiety is to talk to people about how we feel. Pain shared is indeed pain lessened. And when we have good friends that we're able to speak openly with, even when we're feeling bad, those kinds of people are priceless. And they can go a far way in at least letting us talk about how we feel, express it. And often, it may not make me feel better, but often it doesn't make me feel worse either. But most of the time it does make me feel better. Another thing, having any sort of community, whether it's a 12-step fellowship, CrossFit, yoga, any sort of group that has a common goal, that can also be extremely helpful. Yoga is something that combines physical exercise with a spiritual component. When I used to do more yoga, I would really recognize how a lot of my workouts would come from a place of anger as opposed to a place of peace. And yoga is a great way to get a sense of community too. Also, get a tattoo. There is a reason why it's called ink therapy, and when they're machining you, which is what the tattoo gun's called, the machine, I become vulnerable. And when I'm vulnerable, I'm more likely to be a little more open with what I'm thinking and feeling. And oftentimes your artist, if he's a good one, has some really great feedback or suggestions to give you. One of the other reasons why it's called ink therapy, right? We can also set goals for ourselves. When we set goals that are attainable and then we achieve them, our brain releases dopamine. And these are the same receptors that Adderall and Ritalin and Vyvanse work on. And they give those to people who have ADD or ADHD. But when we set goals for ourselves and then achieve them, our brain releases a feel-good chemical, dopamine. And one of the best things to do to start the day, as the Navy SEAL Admiral said, to make your bed. It starts the day with a task accomplished, and then it makes it easier to accomplish more tasks. And when we do make our beds every day, no matter what, it becomes easier to mentally think about something to add onto that schedule, right? Because I tried to do the bed thing, making my bed every day no matter what, and the way I see that, I try to add things to that. And we're going to talk more about things that we can add to it, right? Martial arts. There's something extremely therapeutic about knowing that you can kick the crap out of somebody else. And then while we're training, guess what? We're going to get our butts kicked when we're new at these things, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing. It's really quite the humbling experience. But when you choke somebody out, man, that's a therapeutic feeling. Damn, that feels good. Or say, if you're doing Muay Thai or boxing, you punch someone, therapeutic as well. And at least in this atmosphere, it's condoned and welcomed. It's not like we're picking fights in the street here. We're actually doing something to better ourselves, which is amazing. The martial arts are amazing for that. We can also take a walk in nature. Walking in nature is extremely therapeutic for me because it helps us to get present. And as cliche as it sounds, when we're living in the past, we can be depressed, and we're living in the future, we can be anxious. But when we get present, it really helps us to do things. And one of the good indicators to me about something that's good for us? Or what are the things that make us forget to take a look at our phones? What are those things? When we just forget that we have social media, we forget that we have a phone. Those things are signposts to me of things that we're supposed to be doing in life that are good for us generally. How about sing? Even if we're terrible at singing, expressing ourselves, singing at the top of our lungs in a car is extremely therapeutic and feels great. I need to do more of this myself, and I'm actually going to maybe include some songs on this channel because I like to sing, and I'm not doing it enough, and I got to hold myself accountable to doing it more. How about create art? So whether we paint something like Bob Ross and his fluffy little clouds, or we write poetry, right? Or we take pictures, photography of places we've gone to. These are all awesome creative outlets to express how we feel, and they make us feel better. It's letting out something that needs to get out. Journaling, that's another great way to let our thoughts out on paper, right? Let it out. Let the things that we're thinking out. Maybe even include some goals in the journal too about things we're going to do. But summarize your day. Talk. These things are all extremely therapeutic for anxiety and depression. We can also get a pet. How about that? Get a cat, get a dog. Take care of something. Which leads us right into helping somebody out or volunteering. One of the best ways to get out of how we're feeling is to help somebody else. Make a donation anonymously. Leave a giant tip for a server. Help out a friend in need. Volunteer at an animal shelter. Volunteer at a homeless shelter. All of these things, I've never felt worse after doing those things, ever. And it helps somebody else out, right? That's an extremely therapeutic thing to be doing. We can also, we can save. Save for a splurge item for ourselves. Maybe it's a vacation. Maybe it's a car. Maybe it's some clothing. But when we have a little thing that we're looking forward to in the future, even if it can be slightly negative or a little bit of a vice, it's important to have things we're looking forward to. So whether it's a vacation, a tattoo, or something, we're saving. We are setting aside something for an event that we're going to enjoy doing, which is also pretty damn cool if you ask me. And as I'm thinking more here, obviously sleep, diet, exercise, the boring ones, yes. I need 8 hours of sleep a night. Too little can cause me to be manic and have anxiety. Too much can cause me to be depressed. I do try to limit my high fructose corn syrup, but not to say I don't like a damn good cheat meal. And then exercising, when I'm in a bad mood, I don't feel like it, but I never regret it when I do exercise. Also, let me think, what else we can do here? We can also create your own YouTube channel. But those are the general guidelines of the things that I look forward to. Oh, that's what it is. Laughter. Laughter is absolutely one of the best medicines out there. So listen to some comedians. Watch them on YouTube. Watch a Netflix special. Listen to their podcasts. Or surround yourself with people who have a great sense of humor. But laughter. I've never felt bad and laughing at the same time. Maybe shortly thereafter I did. But never at the same time. So laughter is another one of these awesome medicines. But those are all the ones I could really think of that are a little creative. I keep on reminding myself, create something beautiful. Make something beautiful. Maybe it's the interior of your home. Maybe it's an awesome food dish you'd like to make. But explore your interests. Dig into them with curiosity. And get curious about life too. Right? And I get it. When we're depressed, we're not curious about much, except how the hell do we cure our depression? How to get rid of it? But when we're curious about life and all of its mysteries, it can be extremely gratifying to learn, follow our interests, travel the world. Traveling is another great one. But These are some of the things I have used in my life to extremely help my anxiety and depression. If you have any other suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Leave me an email at mellowmentoring@gmail.com or leave a suggestion in the comments below. And again, I'm always open to hearing ideas about what other kinds of videos you'd like to see me make. But as you can see, it's snowing in the background here. It's getting a little chilly outside. This is real snow. That's not it's not a backdrop there. But again, I'm glad I had this opportunity to share with you all and walk you through my journey of what's helped me with anxiety and depression. And I hope to talk to you again soon, which I know I will. Thank you.